In progress, we will open up the Tourist Development Council meeting of October 23rd and start with the roll call.
Who's going to do that? Angela, you want to do it?
Anybody?
Vice Chair Tom Hermanson,
Present.
Julie Braga,
Present.
Alex Liptross,
Present.
Mayor Rod Medina,
Present?
Keith Winston,
Present.
Andrea Young,
Present.
And no, Delash and Wayne and Chair Steele were notified us they were not going to be making it.
Okay. Reviewing the agenda, we'll ask if any member has any conflict of interest and ask them to declare the same. No conflict of interest. Then we motion to approve the agenda? No. No. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Yep. And we'll review the minutes of the last meeting. Any changes or corrections?
Motion to approve.
Motion from Andrea Young,
Second, Braga.
second from Julie Braga. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, Peter.
Thank you, sir. Just as a quick follow-up from last time, the board yesterday approved the request from the TDC to send a request to the Attorney General to take a look at the use of TDT and lifeguards. We'll see if they respond. You know, all I know is I've been told they are not doing a lot of Attorney General opinions these days out of that office. So we'll have to see if they even respond to us or not. So it'll be interesting to see what they say, or if they respond at all, for that matter. But anyway, the board did approve that. Going into my report, a couple of things. STR looked good in August. We were up 8% over previous August, so that's a good, that was good. Hopefully we'll end the year strong. September will determine where we land, obviously. So last month of the year. I don't believe we'll hit 25.5, which was last year. I think we'll come pretty close, but I just don't think we're going to get quite there. So we'll be close. We'll be within maybe a percent or two, but and last year was an all-time high. So having 2 years in a row like that isn't necessarily a bad thing. That being said, budget reports, we will have a final September budget report in November because we're still closing out. Some of the final marketing invoices and stuff are just rolling in, and we're just cleaning that up. So we'll have a final report for the board in November. We do not have that in this packet. That's pretty much it on my report. If you don't mind, I'll roll right into number 3, which is the marketing support program. If you turn to page 13 in your packet, sorry about the big packet. It was 1,300 pages. I actually shrank it down to get it to this but in the electronic, it had all of the attachments to all the applications. We had 25 cultural groups and 20 sports events apply. And if you recall, the way the criteria was outlined, it was really based on, for cultural, it was based on attendance, out-of-county attendees, which we use Datafy as our tool that we use for that. And then for the sports grants, it is based on room nights. For those events that had an event last year, we asked to, we reviewed that. If they were already an applicant from last year's grants, we had those numbers. If we didn't have those numbers, we requested those numbers and some kind of proof that they would have the qualified room nights. The way that it worked, there's a key at the bottom of page 13 that shows you who it is. If you had 5,001 out-of-county attendees up to 10,000, or 200 room nights up to 1,000 room nights, you got $15,000 in marketing support. If you had 10,001 to 25,000 out of county, or 1,001 to 1,500 room nights, you got $20,000. If you had 25,001 to 50,000 attendees out of county, or 1,501 plus, you got 25,000. And then the sports grants were capped, and they want us during the year to promote. We did have a couple of events this fall, and one event is the Space Coast Fair. We started working with them already in anticipation of this and trying to just test it to see how it will work. We've got the plans in place and ready to go, and we're just waiting for the TDC, and then we'll take it to the board on November 12th is the date we're shooting for it to go to the board if the TDC approves that. On the sports side, we did have a couple of sports events. Unfortunately, one we were unable to really support because that event is actually coming up pretty quickly, which is the Rich Salick Surf. So we got $600,000 from the cultural, and we got $600,000 from the cultural and $240,000 from the sports program, which was part of the marketing budget, so that it totaled $860,000. So we have $485,000 for the cultural and $320,000 for sports, although I'll get into this in a little bit, but sports doesn't always achieve all their room nights, and therefore they might not achieve all of that money. But if assuming that they achieved everything that they said they would, and those numbers are good, then the total would be $805, so we'd actually be a little bit under budget.
Question,
Yes.
it's my understanding the TDC is going to be marketing pre-event, correct? We're back to the pendulums keep swinging
So
back and forth.
For sports events, there's sort of two things that can happen. If they are a open event where they're actively doing marketing to either attract attendees or attract people, to watch or come and participate, yes, we will promote them ahead of time. If they don't have that, if they're a closed invitational, meaning they already have the teams, they already have the players, and they're bringing the room nights, then we'll do a sponsorship, and they'll get those funds through the sponsorship. But they still have to live up to their room nights, and if they don't, then those room nights get reduced by the proportional number that they're under.
So if it's a pre-marketed event and they don't produce the room nights, and we've already spent the marketing
All
dollars.
they've gotten, all we've lost is the marketing money has
Okay,
been spent.
yeah, so
but,
we're not going to ask for a check back.
No,
okay.
because they're not getting a check in their hands. so-
Right.
Right.
Right, okay.
Question, Mr. Chair. So all of these we do the marketing for, correct?
That's correct, right.
And in the case of the sports ones, we're looking at room nights.
Right.
How do we correct our marketing efforts? If we market and we fall short, just in the past, we would sort of hold them responsible.
Uh-huh.
How do we hold ourselves responsible? Is there, do we adjust our marketing efforts next year? Or how do we make sure that we're spending our dollars effectively
Right.
in light of it? Because we can't hold them responsible anymore because we're making the marketing decisions now. Is that
Right.
correct? So
That's right, in concert with them. I mean, we're talking to the organizer, and on the sports side, their marketing is a little more targeted because it's more of a specialty.
Okay.
So we're working hand in hand with them, but yeah, absolutely, we got to hold ourselves accountable for the numbers if the numbers don't achieve what we thought they would. And, on the cultural side, obviously, we'll be measuring attendance as well and seeing how we do there. We did a little, just as an example, we did a test last year, small test with the Moore Center, and they wanted to have an event. They were hoping to get 80 to 100 people. We did the marketing. We generated 300 people.
Wow.
So, our hope is that with our targeting and our knowledge and ability to, turn the faucet on, so to speak, for these events, that will help them grow. I mean, that's the whole idea, so.
I was going to say, it seems to me there's also another potential advantage here is, obviously, they can grow, our skills at this can get better, but also,
That's right.
Laura, I'm wondering if it's a chance that you can teach them to market better, or from
course.
what we learn, it's like I
Yep.
love the feedback, potentially, if you build a feedback loop into the system where we give them comments or remarks then it's really, I think you get a lot out of this
Right.
process.
And we do plan to do a report at the end of each event. It'll be about 30 days after, but then they'll see the results that we've created. And you're right, they can learn from us, so,
It's really, I like the proactive nature of that potentially.
sure.
Yeah, the other thing I find interesting with this and thought about this even going back to last year when we first talked about doing a program like this is now you've got, $800,000 in marketing that's going to be not only promoting events, but promoting the area as a whole, because obviously Space Coast is going to be tagged on everything. And so the message, I think there's a branding component to it that benefits everyone.
It will be interesting to see in a few years if everyone's gone, all right, this is really working, we're better for culture. You can build a cultural brand and a sports brand here in a better way because it's unified. So, awesome. Thank you.
So, Mr. Chair, we are looking obviously for the TDC to make a motion in support of this and make a recommendation to take it to the Board of County Commissioners on November 12th.
I think this is a great list. It's awesome to see so many good events, both on the sports and cultural side. Is a core function of the TDC and TDT to do this. Everybody put in a lot of work. That's appreciated. Hopefully this will stand and the funding won't get stripped next year. We can hope.
We'll have to bring it back, yes.
We can hope. Anyway, great events, nothing too controversial, as like last year.
Thank you for that.
I'm not going to start on that. With that, thank you very much, Peter and the team, I know how much work goes into this. And now the pendulum has swung. I think this is the fourth time in 20 years from marketing support to cash grants. To marketing support and cash grants to marketing support.
Okay.
So we'll see. It'll go back to cash grants again at some point in time, but here we are. With that, we'll entertain a strong motion from somebody. A good motion.
So moved.
That's excellent.
A second is,
We've got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, this too passes unanimously out of this committee.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it's an interesting process. The one thing I'll just point out is the shift in the volume of work is, the thought was, we sort of streamlined the process on the front end. Yes, but the amount of work on the back end for Laura and her team and our agency and all of that is significant. So while the front end was much more streamlined, the back end is very involved. Each event is going to be receiving a marketing plan. They get to approve the marketing plan. If they need help with the creative, we'll help them with the creative through our vendors and our agency. Obviously, we'll be monitoring it on the back end. As Laura said, we'll be doing reports, post-event reports on everything. So, yeah, it's a shifting of the workload, but I think it's an interesting process, and I think it's got some real benefits for the destination as a whole.
Mr. Chair, can I ask a question really quick? Can we see maybe one of those after?
Yeah,
maybe one of the
yeah.
first
Why don't
events?
we can probably bring, because we've already started working on the State Fair program, and so we could probably bring some of that in, like at the next meeting,
That'd be
and
great.
just to show kind of how it's going and how the media dollars are being allocated and that type of
Okay.
thing. Sure.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So Laura, we'll do that. Before we go to public comments, sir, I just wanted to ask Mike McGarry, he's here. He had a quick update for the beach based on Milton and other sundry storms that hit us. So, Mike, do you have a quick second to just give us an update?
Thank you all. Hello, everybody. And for a change, it's not a drama after the storm. In the big picture, Brevard was relatively lucky with where Milton crossed and the condition of our beaches beforehand and the tides when the storm came through. So in the big picture, our beaches did well. They perform the function we build them for, which is to protect upland properties and keep sand in place for people to enjoy. All of our projects got moderately eroded, but the northern three-quarters or so of the county, we've got our federal projects, North Reach, Mid Reach, South Reach. Those were all scheduled to have work underway this coming winter by the Army Corps based on Nicole a couple years ago, and I'm coordinating with the Corps to adjust that fill plan if needed to account for Milton. I don't know that it will be warranted, but they're doing surveys, and I'm just trying to capitalize on the sand placement that the Corps does while they're here working this coming winter. So in the North Reach, Cocoa Beach, and Cape Canaveral is one dredge contractor, and that work is scheduled to start sometime in late November, and they hope to be finished next spring by the end of April. Those same dates, November to April, are when work in the Mid-Reach, Satellite Beach, Indian Harbor, and the South Reach, which is the town of Melbourne Beach and Indy Atlantic. Those shorelines will be finished by April 30th as well. So that's all good and nothing to panic. The press, I was able to give them an optimistic post-storm report. In the South Beaches, which is the southern 14 miles of the county, it's a much narrower beach. That's the Archie Carr Refuge. We've built a dune there. For the most part, the dune that we built is all still in place, the dune bluff. The beach has narrowed, as they do during weather events, but they look really quite good. I'm going to document the losses. We ordered surveys of that shoreline right as the storm passed. We're going to document those losses, and if they're sufficient to warrant to gain FEMA assistance, we'll do so. I don't think, based on my eyeball, it's not worth rushing out there this winter to do sand, but if we can document a modest loss that's eligible for FEMA. We had already planned to maintain that shoreline in another year or two. Peter and I had it penciled into the budget. We're saving for it. So conceptually, if FEMA eligible losses are documented now, we could combine that with a future maintenance event in a couple of years and just gain efficiency for mobilization, but also assure we gain any FEMA assistance we're eligible for. So we'll work on that, but at the moment, the beaches, while narrowed and a little weathered, are still in relatively good shape. We're not quite out of the woods with hurricane season yet, but got my fingers crossed for the rest of the season. So that's all I have, unless there's questions.
I have a question. Oh, you want to go first? Sorry. Where are the current reserves scheduled to be at the end of the fiscal year?
We're at 8.85.
And that's with the savings?
That's this fiscal budget now, so, yeah.
And that's what, with the savings of not issuing the grants in this year?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, we were at 8, and then we didn't do the million. We did 100. They did 150,000 for derelict vessels, so that left 850. So that 850 went into the reserve. So that's where we got 8.85.
Okay.
So, and then we've got, in the operational budget, there's some funds because we were going to be using some money for different projects, and fortunately, it's turned out that we haven't had to contribute for the Mid and South Reach projects. So those projects, the Army Corps is paying 100% of that. So that gave us a few million that we also have in the operating budget to use if necessary.
So is there still money outstanding from any of the previous storms from FEMA?
Yeah, we still have some project work on the South Beaches that's finishing up in this next round, right? So.
Yes, from Hurricane Nicole, where we need to vegetate the dunes, and that project will be about $1 million and will be reimbursed both by state and FEMA. So the state portion of about, I don't have the precise number, but the state portion is about 400,000. I can get that back quickly. The state is fast about reimbursement. The FEMA reimbursement will come, but it'll be longer out. To date, we have not gotten any FEMA reimbursement back from Nicole.
Okay.
They've had the invoices for, on the order of 4 months. They've been chewing on it. They asked us questions. The first round of invoices, they always have more questions, but we're working on that. But we have not gotten the FEMA reimbursement back from our Nicole expenses over the last 2 years yet.
And roughly, what, do you know the money about the money,
It'll
the
be-
invoices?
It'll be 87.5% of about 16 million. So it's a
Oh.
pretty big amount of
Yeah.
money, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and that'll hit us when, we, actually in sort of the plan that we've been working on, it's probably in next year is realistically when
Yeah.
we think we will get it,
Okay.
so, yeah. But that'll go towards projects that we have, future projects that we have laid out, so.
Does 6 million of that go back to the general fund?
Some of it goes back to the general fund because it was, that we borrowed some ARPA funds and we got to reimburse them their piece. So whatever that amount was.
will there be any left over when that reimbursement happens to put in the reserves?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm thinking if not the next fiscal year, the fiscal year after that, we will have a large deposit for, available for that, yes.
large as,
More than
Millions?
5 million, probably.
More than 5 million. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah,
Right.
Keeping
Thank
in
you.
mind that
And
we had
that's,
a $20 million event from one storm.
right.
I know. Just want to
Yeah.
get as
Right.
much in there as possible,
yeah,
because
and
the storms aren't stopping.
I appreciate that thought, and that's why, Peter, with all of your guidance, getting money there, because we know just normal maintenance, if we do a normal maintenance event in the mid-reach, I don't have the exact number, but in another 3 years, we're going to have to come up with, on the order of 8 million.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But that's in the,
For
bud-
just-
that's in the budget.
And
to do
that is in our budget plan, that's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for such a detailed report.
Did you hear anything about the National Seashore?
I've only seen the news reports and the National Seashore, they manage their shorelines on their own, but, so I don't have any detail beyond what's I've seen in the news report, and they did suffer, some damage to their structures, I know, again.
750 turtle nests as a result of the storms. That was
Wow.
in the news.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mike.
Have any public comment cards, so.
Any
Go ahead.
public comments? Any public comments on lease of Laurie Wilson Park?
I did have a question, if you're aware, what are the fees, I never saw in the paper, what are the fees they're proposing to pay? And
So
are they
the standard
significant?
fee rate is, this was discussed in the meeting, the standard fee rate is actually variable now. There's not a fee card, and I guess they discussed coming up with a fee card, but it's kind of event-based, based on impact
Yeah.
and usage and requirements.
Number of attendees.
Number of attendees.
Yeah.
Peter probably knows a lot more than me.
It's about.
It's
no,
nothing. It's
about-
peanuts.
Right now, it's about 2,000 a day for half the park and 4 to 5,000 for the whole park. But they're looking at redoing that structure because, they realize that's way below market value, so.
A friend of mine suggested we just rent it out for a weekend, just to make the point, just like put up barriers. Like, we're not doing that. It's a
I'll come to that
horrible
party.
idea.
I'll come to the
I
party.
was like, yeah,
I will. Sounds like a great time.
20
So, Peter-
guys, $200 a piece.
So Peter, since that has come up, Mr. Chair, what was the decision on the Board of County Commissioners?
They pulled the item for now. I think they may come back at some point, but I don't know when.
So it's
Yeah.
pulled, so there's no
No action.
date certain, no
dates-
action?
There's no date
Okay,
certain.
Okay.
So much controversy. No other public comments. We'll go down the list here. I don't have any comments for this. Actually, it'd be interesting, I was going to ask you about terms. I don't know who's terming off here.
No,
I don't think I am.
unless.
I was appointed by commissioners terming off, so I'm
So
assuming I term off.
the chair appointee can term off, right?
It'll be up to the new chair
It'll be up to the new
to
chair.
decide on
But
on their
otherwise,
appointments,
yeah,
yeah.
but
I don't think there's
otherwise-
anybody else.
Otherwise,
terming-
nobody else is terming off. All
Not
right.
this year, yeah. But obviously, new commissioners there are things that they could do to
Oh.
potentially.
They can fire TDC members?
They can do it at any time. They,
wouldn't
just
say
remember, they can do it at any
Anytime.
time. Anytime. they like.
Anytime. It's not fired, it's invited to not attend meetings.
Just a good memory. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back.
Happy to be here every time.
Resilience. Okay, Julie, any comments there from the Melbourne market?
No, I would, as Andrea brought up, the courtyard on 192 in West Melbourne is completed their room renovation and public space. So they're going to be having a party on November 19th, and you're all invited. It's going to be a great event to highlight the capital investment into that property and Marriott managed hotel, as I am, and so we're very, very proud of that. I'm currently going under lobby space renovation, and it's aging me, but we're almost done. Got a couple more weeks left, and then, so there's a lot of investment going into the south part of the county, and it's a good thing to keep our products pristine and up to date.
We
So-
just started our courtyard renovation, projected to take 10 months.
It's going to take 10 months?
Yeah,
What?
tear out all the bathrooms,
Tub to shower.
tub
But they
tub
can-
to shower.
It took Leah 3.5 months, I think, or 3 months?
I'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
Alex, anything? No? Mayor?
So I'd like to take this opportunity to just give you a status update on Sacrifice Park. So first and foremost, I want to thank this advisory board for the support. I'm partnering with the City of Palm Bay for Sacrifice Park. This past August, we held a solemn ceremony to remove the plaques that had the names of those that sacrificed their lives in service of our community. The old monument, as it stood, is no longer there. It's been removed. And at this last October 17th regular council meeting, we actually awarded the contract to build the new Sacrifice Park. And so I'm really excited about that. The low bidder was Doug Wilson. The components of the new amphitheater, which was in addition to what we originally submitted, that is already been delivered and we have it. So construction is ready and we should be expecting it to be completed by the end of January 2025, perhaps beginning of February. We'll see how that goes. So please mark your calendars because I'd love for each and every one of you to attend the new Sacrifice Park in the city of Palm Bay and recognize the lives that were lost on that fateful day. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Keith, what's good at the zoo, aquarium?
Couple of announcements for you. Last weekend of Boo at the Zoo, so come while you can. Jazz Zoo is November 2nd. As of yesterday, out of the 2,000 tickets, there was about 150 left, so that will sell out. So if you'd like that, please go ahead. We push back, the opening of Lions is going to be November 16th. That is heavily funded by TDC funds. It's pretty magnificent. So that is November 16th. It's a Saturday. We're very excited about that. And then stay tuned for some invitations to some upcoming events about the aquarium. We'll be reaching out to you guys
Yay.
to invite to those announcements too. So.
Awesome. Andrea?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Chair. So I have to say that I'm really excited to see all of these cultural events that all came in and all scored very well. And I have to say that I missed going through all the applications. I would get so excited about the
If you'd like, I
event.
can give you the 1,300-page packet and you can Take it home with you.
Well, I would get excited about the event, so I would, as I'm doing it, I would get tickets and go. I'd go to the theater, I'd go to the zoo, well, the zoo wasn't on here, but I would go to the different events, because just reading about them, you want to go, you want to participate, and you want to support our local arts. So I'm very happy to see that they're here, and I do miss them. So that's all I had to say. Thank you.
All right.
Our
Any
next
final
meeting
words?
is November 13th, back at 2, so back at 2 o'clock timeframe. Hopefully you can attend and chair because.
Not be late?
Well, regardless, Chair Steele will not be here, so I know that in advance, so
Let the record reflect that I was like 35 minutes early last meeting.
that's right. So you're,
So I was 6 minutes late this meeting. I'm still ahead in the third quarter, fourth quarter. Thank you, everybody. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
The opinions expressed by any member of the public during any period of public comment do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, or the program sponsor, and are solely those of the presenter. The Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, and the program sponsor hereby expressly disclaim any and all responsibility or liability for any defamatory or slanderous statements expressed by any member of the public during any such period.